So with the European Tour introducing events such as the Scandinavian Mixed, women in golf will finally get more coverage. However, despite this, the women's game still suffers from the gender pay gap, and this is also seen in most sporting codes. Joining me now to unpack this issue is Sunshine Tour women's golfer Lejan Lewthwaite. Lejan, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Newsroom Africa, Channel 405. The pay gap is something that has always been top of mind and very topical. COVID-19, however, has thrust that even more into the spotlight.
Yes, good morning, Buhle. Thanks for having me on the show this morning. Yeah, absolutely. It's, after the pandemic, a lot of corporates have been, companies have been struggling. I think our economy has taken a big knock as well, but it has been a nice way for us to reintroduce the impact of getting this equal pay gap, where it should be. And I know that Investec, a proud sponsor of mine, are helping massively in closing that gap.
Now, of course, it is something that the private sector will have to do. Businesses will have to come to the fore in this regard. But, it starts from something as simple as, maybe not as simple, but as just better broadcasting.
Yes, absolutely. More showtime means hopefully to, get women's golf out there. I think the more people see it, the more they want to watch it. We had a lot of new viewers tuning into our Investec South African Open in April. So we had a lot of good feedback from that. And I think, once women's golf gets introduced to the public more, they're going to have interest in it. And I've heard a lot of positive feedback from fans and new viewership that they actually love the game and they love watching us play. So we hope that we can get more on TV, more on social media, and just get our game out there to show everyone what we're about.
Generally, the people that don't watch the game or that don't watch women play will say, no, but it's not as exciting as the men's game. But women's golf is literally pound for pound with the men's game. You shoot the same around the golf course as any and the best of the men can do. So it really is something that is worth, keeping an eye on and actually getting into.
Yeah, absolutely. We might not hit the ball as far as the men, physical characteristics, how that goes. But we just had a great tournament hosted in Sweden called the Scandanavian Mixed Open, where we actually played side by side the men. It was different tee boxes, but it was proportionately fair. We were hitting about the same irons into each green. And the girls gave a good run, at the title. We had girls leading the tournament for 2-3 days. One of the men, I think, clinched it at the end there, but it just goes to show that, the skill level is the same. And there's another aspect to the women's game that I think that is misconceived. We might hit it a little shorter, but a lot of the girls are a lot more accurate. We're not so wide off the tee boxes and that sort of thing. But we definitely bring a different dimension to the game, and I think the more people that get to see that, they'll see that it is interesting and fun to watch. And
there's also the whole commentators aspect of any sporting code, and generally a lot of diehard fans will tell you they need to hear the commentary. Do commentators in the women's golfing game do as much to make it as exciting as you'd find in the men's?
Yeah, I think so. Look, it is new. I think the women are, there's more women coming into the spotlight, into golf in general. You get a lot of females commentating on the men's golf. And I think we're great. We've got a very good understanding of the game. I know a good friend of mine her name's Incy Maymouth. She's from England, and she commentates on the European Tour a lot. And I think she's fantastic. She's a professional golfer on tour, so she knows all the ins and outs of professional golf, being on tour, and what us players go through. So yeah, definitely more women in the golf industry is. It's nice to see, and we hope that we can get a few more.
Let's stick with this exciting, myth, if I can call it that the men's game is more exciting, and I want to take it across sport, specifically into football. The 2019 FIFA World Cup was watched by 1.12 billion people across the world, with over 82 million tuning in for that final event. So in terms of the hunger for it, it is there. Is it time now for the broadcasters to come to the party?
Absolutely. I mean, there's interest. There's definitely interest. And it's not to say that it's less exciting. I think it is. It's a different way of viewing a sport. And I think the ladies bring just as much skill and excitement as the men do. I'm probably biased on that one. But the minute people get that opportunity to see it, which is the broadcasting, seeing it on TV, which is the easiest way to get, people to learn about it and to watch it. And, yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic stat. It just goes to show that throughout sports in general, people are craving women's sports and want to see what the women have to offer out on the sports fields. But
disparagingly, Lejan, if you look at the US Open, bringing it back to golf in particular, the pay inequality, discrepancies between men and women. I mean, the purse for women is $5.5 million. Compared to the purse of $12.5 million for men, with the winner of the female side taking only $1 million home, whereas the men's take more than double, $2.25 million. I mean, that not only must be disheartening, but it must also be something that, affects quite a lot of female golfers mentally as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is a hard one to swallow for us ladies. We compete on a very high level. We shoot scores just as low as the men. I think we need to take a note out of the professional tennis industry. I know they got it right quite quickly. They have a lot of tournaments where the men and females get paid the same, and that's fantastic. And I've spoken to a numerous amount of people on their thoughts of the difference between, say, tennis and golf in terms of pay gap, and they were like, why not? Should it be the same? And yeah, we need to get it out there. We need to get more people watching it, I guess. Punting, golf, women's golf, because it's just as exciting. And I hope that we can edge closer towards, an equal pay someday.
I mean, we are about 90% away from it, because ultimately ladies golfers make 10% as much as the men's golfers, and that's not even taking what they get in sponsorship revenue. We obviously need to fix that in order to be able to build the game from grassroots as well. How important is it to work on the women's game from a very from the start, from the grassroots level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more you win, the more golf looks great to play. I guess it makes it more of how can I put it? A spectacle to want to be a golfer, because the rewards are much greater. And why not have the rewards be the same as what the men get? The men are winning exceptional amounts of money compared to the women, and it's tough for us, but we're out here advocating, and I'm hoping that the work that we put in today will some way allow female golfers in the future to earn amounts closer to what the men are earning today.
Now, I mean, the thing with, you mentioned tennis, is that you've got the likes of a Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka, who are, Angelique Kerbers, who are absolute superstars in the world, and they can match the likes of Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, and so on. I can name them, endlessly and effortlessly so. But when it comes to the ladies' game in golf, it will be difficult for me to name 5 players, as opposed to me being able to name the entire cut that made the last 2 rounds of, say, the last US Open.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know all the stats, and I can only think of the really successful female golfers. Annika Sorenstam's one of them. Lexi Thompson, who are probably the top 2 golfers in professional female golf who probably receive the most in terms of endorsements and sponsors, and they're good golf, so they win a lot of money during tournaments and that sort of thing as well. But yeah, definitely we want it to change. We want it to change. We just us talking about this today makes more people aware that there is this equality, and that we're trying to close it. And yeah, we're standing firm, and we're thankful for Investec. It's big corporates like Investec who can provide us this platform to speak about it and to get this to get the word out that we're trying to make a change.
I mean, it's a drum that we have to constantly beat until the change is there. How far are we, especially on the local front? How far are we from seeing the change according to your sense of things?
I'd love to actually go back to the tennis book history and have a look at how quickly they achieved it, because it's spectacular on how they came about that. I know there were a number of key players that helped make that happen in tennis. I can't remember if it was Steffi Graf or one of the big names. And we are trying to edge closer. I know the Ladies European Tour has come a long way in the last year. We're getting more tournaments every year, more sponsors, so it is changing slowly. But I'd love to see that, like I say, that timeline of how quickly they managed to achieve it, because I'm sure that if we take a closer look at the tennis as being our model, and if we can follow suits along those lines, we could maybe achieve that equal pay gap a bit sooner.
Lejan, I thank you so much for your time this morning. An absolute pleasure talking to you, and congratulations with a decent round yesterday as well as Lejan Lewthwaite. She is a European Tour golfer, South Africa's very own, and she is continuing the fight for gender equal pay amongst sport professionals. Now, this is a fight that will, of course, go all the way into all the other sporting codes from football in South Africa, which is still very much a semi-professional sporting code, even though we've got AFCON champions amongst us, all the way to the golfing sector. So that is definitely a conversation that we will continue to have on this show. Now,